late 1999, I was working for a large non-profit that primarily provided supports to people with developmental disabilities. And I realized that there was a growing need in our community in the Tucson area for providers that were willing to support people with all types of disabilities, particularly people with age-related disabilities who wanted to grow old with dignity in their own homes. And my partner and I decided we would start our own company. We began providing services in early 2000, and the company has continued to grow. We employ over 1,000 people now, so we're a pretty large company, and we have basic values that we started with that are still very important to us, and that is the dedication to customer service. People need to know that they're in control of the services that they're receiving in their own homes. They need to know that they choose a person who's going to be coming into their own home. They need to know that they can trust that providers provide well-trained, well-screened, quality staff that are trustworthy, that are going to keep mom and dad safe, that are reliable and will be there when they say that they're going to be there. There's some of the qualities that we think are essential to providing good services. And when we started the company, Greg and I delivered services ourselves, started the company outside, in our own home, in the spare bedroom. And everyone in our company knows that the delivery of quality services is number one. And in fact, we require that all of our service coordinators and managers that work on the service side actually deliver services. And I've had people say to me, I've got a master's degree and I don't do direct care. And I go, if you want to work for our company, you do direct care. Nearly all of our senior managers are at a master's level, and all of them have provided care, because it's only when you provide care do you understand the importance of customer service. Do you really understand how to hear your customer? And because of our dedication to quality care, we belong to the Southern Arizona Better Business Bureau. And they're bigger than just Tucson, and our company provides more than just services to people in the Tucson area. And it's important to us that our customers can call the Better Business Bureau and ask, is this a quality company? And to find out about our background. We require our employees to do background check. We require that our employees are fingerprinted, and the Better Business Bureau is the fingerprinting check for our company. So we think it's very important that local businesses are part of the Better Business Bureau so that the local customers can know and trust their provider. Well, I tend to be a little bit of a workaholic, which isn't really hard to do in this industry because most of the people that work for our company are very passionate about what we do. So we live and die services. So a lot of my volunteer work is actually around work. It's supporting efforts to improve the quality of services. I've been very active for the last 6 years trying to get legislation into Arizona to require minimal standards that providers must comply. It's supporting efforts to improve the quality of services. I've been very active for the last 6 years trying to get legislation into Arizona to require minimal standards that providers must comply with before they can begin offering services to vulnerable people. Also very involved in the Direct Care Workforce Committee, which has been instrumental in developing training standards for our industry that are now mandatory for providers that contract with Access. So all Medicaid providers in the state of Arizona now have training standards. And that took a lot of work, going up to Phoenix once a month, working on committees to get those standards worked out, to get the policies in place and to get that through Access. I do have some hobbies, other than work-related hobbies. I do ski, I have dogs, but the majority of my work is actually volunteering for associations, that are working to benefit people with disabilities. I'm the president of ANCHOR, which is a national provider association for people that offer services to people with disabilities. So very involved in our industry, in not just in Arizona but at a national level, to improve the quality of services for all people with disabilities. People often ask me about how I started Soreo and what are the lessons that I've learned in growing my company. And the first thing is, you don't want to go into creating your own company unless you're very passionate about what you'll be doing, because you're going to be working 60 hours a week. It's a lot of work in the beginning, and it's a lot of work in very diverse areas. You have to be the cleaner, the accountant, the service provider. It doesn't matter whether it's a restaurant or a social service agency, you're going to be doing everything. But there are some lessons that I learned on the way, and that is that in the very beginning it's important to understand your finances. How much capital do you have to start your business? What money can you come up with if payment is slow? And Greg and I were very good in that area, in that we probably overplanned. We cashed out our retirement. We were sure that we had excellent credit ratings, so we knew we had excellent credit on our credit cards. If we needed to borrow money, we sold more expensive automobiles and bought cheaper automobiles. So we had planned that neither of us would pull down a paycheck for 12 months. The other thing that we were surprised though is, and this was unexpected, and people always say that banks won't loan you money unless when you need it. They only loan you money when you don't need it. And actually, we found out the hard way that that was true. We had maxed out one of the credit cards, taken out a second mortgage on my home, and both of those loans were with the same bank. And I thought it would be pretty logical that you'd go into a bank and say to them, we've been doing this for 2 years, we do have a track record, we're beginning to be a very successful business. Could we roll those loans into one so that we would have the lower interest rate of the residential mortgage as compared to credit cards? And that bank told us no, that it was not in their best interest to put those loans together, that it was in their best interest for us to pay the higher interest rate. And I have to tell you, it gave me great joy 2 years later when I walked into that bank and said to them, I'm paying off all my loans and taking my business to Bank of Tucson and Bank of America, who were very responsive, who understood the needs of a business person. And that other big bank does not get any of our business. So I think it's very important that people know up front, make sure that you've got your capital lined up, that you know how you're going to get money in a crisis, because it will happen, and that you have banks that you can rely on, like the Bank of Tucson and Bank of America. Soreo is one of the major providers in the Tucson area for the Hispanic community, and we have purposefully supported this market. In 2000, services were very poor for Spanish-speaking people, especially people who only spoke Spanish. And we outreached to that community. We hired purposefully people that were able to support people who only spoke Spanish. And today we are the major provider in the Hispanic community. 66% of our senior managers are bilingual. We train in English and Spanish. And our hotline is available 24/7 for people in Spanish. It's very important to our Spanish families that we support that they can access information about not just our business but all businesses in Tucson. And it's one of the things that we love about the Better Business Bureau. Our families who only speak Spanish can call in and check on companies in Spanish. And we think that's wonderful. That is very important in the Tucson community when so many people who live here are Spanish-speaking people. So we applaud the Better Business Bureau for reaching out to a very big part of our community that does need the English second language Spanish interpretation or services in Spanish available to them.